Hey guys, Elliot here. So I've got these are the different boots that I wear on my motorcycle, and I just got the Dainese Street Biker Air shoes, boots, whatever you want to call them. And I kind of thought that other people should kind of get an idea of how these stack up against each other as far as comfort and protection, that sort of thing. So I'm going to start with the first one that I bought, which is the Dainese C2B. They also have the C2B Pro and the C2B Asphalt, or the Dyno Asphalt. And that one has a bit more airflow and actually has laces here, so it looks a little more urban. But this is the first one I got. This is obviously the boot that is motorcycle specific, and this is actually a really good boot. I really love these. I didn't buy the ones that go all the way up your shin, you know, those crazy moon boot looking ones. I mean, this one looks kind of moon boot enough already, but I didn't buy the big one because I'm not going on the track, or I don't really do the canyons that much, and I think this would suffice. This is loaded with protection, and this is a great boot. Like, I couldn't recommend anything to make this thing better. This thing is awesome. And they got the protection here, the shifter pad thing here, the speed lace, or the lacing system, whatever, the plastic up here. Great motorcycle boot. And actually, it's not really too difficult to walk in, surprisingly. I mean, obviously you don't want to hike in it, and you don't want to like spend your afternoon in it. But sometimes when I get to work after wearing these, I kind of don't take them off for a bit because I almost forget like I'm wearing them. But on the motorcycle, they are just a pleasure to wear. I couldn't think of anything better that I would want to be wearing these. Not just because of the obvious protection, but because it really is comfortable, and shifting with this is just a pleasure. So the highlight of this video is really these here, the Street Biker Air, so I'm not going to get into too much. So obviously this one has the best protection, okay? Just get an idea of the walking. It is a little stiff, so yeah, you don't want to walk too much, but you know, it's not a torture rack. So motorcycle boot. Next one, I got my motorcycle in winter, so I was in the I had the motorcycle gear buying craze, or I got the bug, so I started buying shit, and I bought these boots. I live in LA, so these wouldn't really be appropriate for most of the time in LA, but these are actually the Corcoran. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's Corcoran jump boots. If it wasn't for this zipper and the fact that it's black, this is basically the original jump boot that they used in World War II. And a jump boot is what the paratroopers wore and still wear when paratrooping into behind enemy lines or whatever. And what sets paratrooper boots apart from regular military boots is they have to withstand a lot of impact, landing, and to prevent rolling of the ankle. You know, so there's a lot of actually a lot of similarities between these boots and kind of what you look for in a motorcycle boot. You want it to be really super durable, but also provide ankle support and I guess foot support. You don't want it twisting. And this thing is actually really hard to twist. They actually put these metal bars in here, these little flat metal things in here. Like, this thing is solid, you know. I'm gonna try to twist this this way, okay? It's like impossible. It's actually, you know what, it's probably easier to well, no, I wouldn't go that far. This thing is pretty solid too, but I mean, these are way more badass. Like, they probably defeated the Nazis with these alone, you know? Although they do kind of look like Nazi boots, but obvious protection up here, protection here. A lot of leather here. One thing about it is you don't have that malleolus or the ankle bone protection. I mean, you do have the leather, and I think this is sufficient in a slide. It might not be sufficient if you had direct impact right here on that bone. But I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to go like this. You see how that bends over so easily? And you go, oh, wow, that's no ankle support. Well, actually, you know, when you have these tied up on your leg, you'd be surprised how much you cannot roll your ankle. Like, this is very, like when you tie this around, you get it nice and tight, and it doesn't even have to be that tight. It's actually pretty hard to roll your ankle, so you do get a lot of ankle support. I think as far as a non-specific motorcycle boot, you can't really get anything better than this. The only thing that I would say is maybe not as good is the grip it's not terrible. It's actually not terrible, but it's not ideal. So if you take a look at this, this is kind of like just this slick, not slick, but this kind of rubber or whatever it is. I guess this might even be leather. I wouldn't be surprised. But this is obviously meant for asphalt and grime and grit and stuff like that, so you don't slip. These might be an issue if you live like in Seattle or something where it rains a lot. Okay, so then we have the Dainese Biker Air shoes, which I got this week. I actually got them 2 days ago, and I was a little apprehensive, to be honest, before buying these. I have a pair of Jordan Airs, which I don't have right now. They're my dad's, but I thought they would basically just be kind of these high-top basketball shoes that they threw a little bit of protection into. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. There's a little more protection here than I expected. A little more support. Not incredible amount, but I think it is actually sufficient for day-to-day cycling, not cycling, but motorcycling activities. So the front here actually is probably the weakest part. Not only do I wish they had more of a like a stiff kind of shifter pad, like on these boots here, they have this shifter pad that it's actually not just so that you don't wear it out. It's actually, you know, wear down the fabric. It's actually so that you get that stiffness there. So shifting is just a breeze and you don't even notice yourself doing it. It's really nice. But this, you kind of don't really get that stiffness there, that rigidity. So, but that's okay. You know, I mean, I guess they did that because they wanted a little more flexibility, but the sole is actually a lot more stiff than I expected. I'm going to go like this, and it's pretty solid. And this way, like laterally, or however you want to say it, I'm trying to do it with one hand, which is kind of difficult, but, you know, just to kind of put it in perspective, I have these shoes here, which are kind of like, they're made by Chrome, who does like cycling bags and stuff. But see that? And in cycling, you actually really want a stiff sole for the transfer of energy and the pedaling, so your feet don't get tired out. Not that these are really that impressive when it comes to cycling, but they are a little cycling specific. And these are kind of, this is Cordura actually, not cotton, so it's ultra tough. But you know, it's kind of a limp rack. It's not very impressive, but if you look at these, it's pretty solid, you know, but it is comfortable. Back here on the heel, it is nice and solid. I honestly don't think that you're going to have a problem if you get in an accident. I don't think this will be the weakest link. If there's one thing that I think would be the weakest link, before I go into the action, we do have the malleolus protection. It's like they kind of they sew in this metal, maybe it's plastic, yeah, it's plastic, this like plate right there, and then on this side. And the whole shoe is kind of, it's like perforated because it's the air version. It's perforated, has this really nice lining that looks like they do in everything Dainese. Instead of kind of inserting plastics and things like that, they just kind of put this foam everywhere. This extra foam that just makes it a little more durable, which I think would actually and realistically be kind of negligible in an accident. So I have my doubts as far as how beneficial that really is, but it feels solid. So yeah, the weakest link I think is basically here. You do have this crazy plastic side, and I mean, look at these crazy army boots. Okay, yeah, you can go like that, and if you tie them, they are really solid. I promise, they're pretty fucking rad. But these, I mean, it's like you're putting your foot in a cast. It's actually really, really comfortable. I love these, but they do kind of look like moon boots, and you can't walk an extended period of time in them. These just look way cooler, in my opinion, and you can walk a little bit longer, but you do kind of drag your feet, sort of like you're in Doc Martens or something. They're a tad heavy and not the best. But then these are next down the line. And basically kind of what I realized after all this is, if you want, if you, like, Ultra Protection would be a shoe that just is unmoving, basically. It's like a cast. It's solid. So if you want comfort and flexibility, you're obviously compromising that, and there's nothing you can do about that. So I think these are a pretty good all-around compromise, and I think you would be satisfied with them. They kind of like pre-distress it, you know, there's like, they put this ink or, I don't know, like paint or whatever, and they kind of scuff it up and stuff. I'm not a fan of that, but it's not terrible. The laces are like laces I've never seen before, so I guess they're pretty tough, and they actually give you an extra pair in the box. So I'm pleasantly surprised by these shoes. Very nice, and of course they have the reflective detailing and the Dainese demon logo, and they're very stylish, and I think they will be sufficient if you're going to the mall or you're going to a party or something like that. You don't want to get too crazy. Very nice. I like them.